So now let's go into the techniques. And I'm going to start by showing you the main techniques we're going to use in the workouts that I've got for you. And then we're going to go over a few of the extra ones that will be sprinkled in from time to time. But these are your kind of bread and butter techniques, the main ones you'll need to know. The first one is going to be our jab. So I'm out here, I'm going to step as I fire my punch, my hand and foot land together, and then my back foot slides up. So I'm here, I go one, just like this, just like this. Now when I punch, if I want to get a little more detailed, I can focus on also hiding my chin with my shoulder like that. So that way if a punch comes around this other side, my shoulder is protecting my chin. Now a lot of people in Jeet Kune Do like to go vertical fist. It is a stronger punch and it's really good for interception. The only problem is it does tend to leave that shoulder down. So there's a little less defensive coverage, but a little bit more power. So that one's up to you. The next one is my cross. When I throw my cross, I'm going to already be in range. The reason why I teach you to step on the jab is because that's our main punch for closing distance. Your jab is your delivery vehicle, your cross and your hook and your kicks, that's the dynamite that you're delivering. So my cross, I'm in range already. I'm going to fire this, but the key is watch what I do with my back foot. I'm going to turn my back foot over. We call it squishing the bug. So I'm going to squish the bug, and that's going to send my fist out. Your fist is an iron ball at the end of a chain. I'm not so much hitting with my hand as I'm throwing it with my hip here like this. So you should feel a kinetic flow from the bottom of my foot all the way up my shoulder and out my hand. All right? And I can put them together. I can step in, I can land the jab, and then come right behind it with that cross as well. The next one is the hook. When I throw my hook, my elbow lifts up and my front foot pivots like this. If you know the whole Bruce Lee 1-inch punch, it wasn't that Bruce Lee had some magical punch. It was that he was showing if you know how to put your body into a shot, then you don't need more than a couple of inches. From right here, boom, I can land a hard hook without having to go like this. So when I throw my hook, I don't want to wind up. In fact, the rule of thumb I tell people is that your hands don't leave your head until they're on their way to the target. So I don't go here. I move my body here and then boom. Some people like to go thumb in. Some people like to go thumb up. Totally personal preference on that. The next one is we're going to look at body shots. Now I can hook to the body where I just do the same thing down here, or I can throw what are called shovel hooks. In sparring, shovel hooks are my favorite. They go diagonal like this. I think of taking the guy's liver and sending it out their shoulder. So a shovel hook travels off 45. The only problem with the heavy bag is because it's vertical, these shovel hooks don't exactly land as nicely as I would like. A person's body is a little bit more angled, so it's a little easier to rip those in. So a lot of times on the bag, I will just fire hooks to the body just like that. Same rule applies though. I squish the bug on those hooks. Okay, so those are our body hooks or shovel hooks. Next is our uppercut. When I throw an uppercut, I squat down. My butt sticks out. I stick my booty out. And then, if you've ever done like a kettlebell swing where you lift your hips and send the kettlebell up, it's the same motion. I actually have people practice kettlebell swings to get the motion. Because I'm here and then I lift my hip up, boom, and I send my fist right behind it. I don't drop my hand. Remember, hand doesn't leave your chin till it's on its way to the target, okay? That's that 1-inch punch principle. Unfortunately, this bag doesn't have like a chin for me to uppercut. So what you can do instead, you can go right into the bottom of the bag. A lot of people do this. I do that sometimes. I don't like to. I usually will just put it in front of the bag. Now, you might be going, okay, so if I go up to somebody and go like this, they're going to have an idea I'm about to uppercut. With an uppercut, as I punch, I drop my butt. So I'm here. So boom, and then I uppercut. So I use my punch, my prior punch, to load up. Boom, whap, here. So now let's get into our kicks. The first kick we're going to go over is the thrust kick. You can do it with the front leg or the back leg. So if I'm throwing with the front leg, I can step up so that right here I can lift this leg and then drive it forward, just like this. I'm hitting with the ball of my foot. I can also do it with the rear leg by lifting up here and driving forward, okay? Now, I said you can step up. You can also hop into it. So that push-up what we did before, I can lift my front leg and then hop into it. I like to do that if I'm intercepting the person. So maybe the person goes to kick me, and I go boom, and I stop them. The last part is the hip movement. I'm not so much kicking with my leg. I'm actually trying to use my entire hip as well. I'm in Texas, and so think of putting on your cowboy boots, like that. The other way is if you're from California, think of putting on your skinny jeans. And I'm just playing there. When I throw my dress kick, it's there or there. Now the next kick we're going to go over is the round kick. Now you can throw this a couple of different ways. My instructor used to call this the water and the whip principle. The water is like, imagine a giant wave just coming through and just knocking everything down, just bowling it all over. So when I throw my round kick, I can rotate on this foot here, okay? So I spin this foot at least to 90 degrees. If I can get to 180, if I can get my heel pointed at the bag, that's even better. So watch what this looks like. I'm here, there. And usually if I do this one, I'm aiming with the bottom of my shin. So I point my toes and I hit with that part on my leg here. With the front leg, it's the same thing. I can either step up and do it, I can lean back and do it, I can step sideways, which is my personal favorite. I step the direction I'm kicking. Or I can do what's called a switch step, where I switch my legs like this, and then I fire. Now, the other way you can throw this is the whip principle. I'm going to point my knee, and then I'm going to snap my leg out like this. These don't have as much power, as you can tell, but they're really good if you're doing double kicks. So for instance, if I go like low and then high, that's a good way to do it. It's also really good if you're aiming with the toe of your shoes or the ball of your foot. So I like to do that in sparring. I like to catch people with little liver shots with the toe of my shoe. So I'm here, I step up and I just snap it like this, okay? Now let's go over the side kick. So with the side kick, I'm going to turn sideways. I need to line up my body so that my back foot can get behind my front foot. What I want to do is I want to point my butt at the bag. So I'm here, I point my butt at the bag, my knee comes up, and then I drive it through. Sometimes, some martial arts call this a back kick, and even in Jeet Kune Do, sometimes you'll see it written as a side/back kick. I go here, boom, and I drive up. When I land, I want my toes slightly pointed down for the most power, okay? So I'm here, I slide up, boom! Now if I'm fighting and I all of a sudden do this, they're gonna see it coming. So we're going to disguise it. There's different ways to disguise it. For example, I could throw a round kick, pendulum back, and then side kick. So I use the pendulum back to load that hip up. That's one way we're going to be doing it. Now, a quick note on side kicks. Because my side kick is the longest tool, if I throw my round kick and I come up and I hit with the bottom of my shin, then I've got to really go far back to then land the side kick because I'm starting so close. Usually when I'm actually applying this, I might be round kicking the leg and then hitting the body. So I don't need that same amount of distance. So a lot of times what I like to do on my more snappy round kicks is I'll kick with the shoelace part of my shoe, which actually I'll do that anyway when I'm sparring. I like to kick with the shoelace part of my shoe sometimes because it keeps me away from their punches. So whenever I'm doing a combo where it's going to have a side kick included, I will usually round kick with the instep of my shoe so that I don't have to go as far back. Okay, now I want to go over our main defenses. We're going to use a little bit more head movement in these workouts. So it's a little bit easier to visualize on the bag. So if a punch is coming straight at me, I can lean to the side just like this. That slip allows the punch to pass over my shoulder, and then I come back with this counter. So it's almost like I'm getting to load up my punch by slipping theirs. So my instructor used to say, think of every attack as a gift that they're giving you. So I'm here, I'm like, man, I really want to hit this person. He throws his punch at me, I slip it, I go, oh, thank you. Wow! Right there, I get to really load that front up. Same if I slip this way. So I slip, I turn over so I'm well balanced, and now I'm loaded, boom, for that hook. Okay? I can also weave. When I weave, my first movement is straight down. My shoulders square up. See, I don't do this. It takes longer, and sometimes people will actually weave into the punch if they do that. Instead, if you imagine the punch is coming around here, it's like making a circle. I just need to get my body and my head on the inside of that circle. Then, if it's coming this way, I weave this direction. Now I load it up. And if it's coming the other way, I go this direction. And then I come around. When I do weaves, I don't want to keep my hands here because I can't see anything. But I also don't want them down because I don't want to eat a knee. So I go into what's called peekaboo guard. It's like here. I joke that it's like you're honking your nose. I put my hands here. And that way I'm looking right over. If a knee were to come up, I'm still pretty well protected. So those are our main defenses we'll be using during these workouts. Our slips and our weaves. Awesome.